What percentage of Trump's supporters are racist or racist tolerant? And is there a difference? Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you and AJ in Gainesville, Florida. Hey, AJ, what's up?
Hey, Tom. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to disagree with you.
Okay.
You were asking a question about whether, we should throw out the olive branch to the supporters whose man lost this election a few days ago. And I say no. I think they have to come around on their own. So that's my position on that. And you had also said something like there were 30 to 40% of his supporters that you thought were not racist. And I respectfully disagree. I think in the media, we've had plenty of time to take a look at his racism dating way back to the discrimination with HUD, to the Central Park Five. But if people were just paying attention to 5 years ago, starting 5 years ago, Tom, they would have seen plenty. I mean, everything from kids in cages to Charlottesville, where he actually was supportive of the white supremacists who were marching and making anti-Semitic statements, Jews will not replace us. And so
Right.
I think that a vote for him, whether it was 5 years ago or whether it was most recently, is a tacit approval of his behavior, because it proves to me that racism is not a deal breaker for you. And then very quickly, I just want to mention a couple of things.
Well, hang on, just if I may, I'll
yeah.
let you get to you really
Sure.
quickly. No problem.
Sure.
AJ, it may be kind of, elitist privilege or something to say there's a difference between being a fulminating racist, somebody who, actively goes out and spreads racist BS and speaks poorly of other people, versus being someone who tolerates a racist, that is, votes for Donald Trump because they really want the steel mill down the street to open back up again. But hey, he's a racist, so I'll put up with him. But there is a slight difference anyway, is there not?
No, I don't think there is, because I think that it's when we talk about racism or not being racist, it's a moral question. And if you're saying that you've got to put money, and when I think of the racists that are supporting him, I mean, I think it's a different situation with the working class people that are doing it, because I think they feel empowered somehow by attaching themselves to him.
Yeah,
but
it's the
when
whole
I think
own the
about
libs
the wealthy
thing.
people, yeah, but with the wealthy people, it's all about my tax cut. I'm the top 1% and I'm the chief beneficiary, and the executives at the corporations. Those folks and the white, the working class people, it's all racism. And you don't have to be overtly racist to be racist. But once again, he's proven repeatedly who he is by his words and his behavior, and it's at foghorn status. So it's not even an undercurrent at this point.
Yeah.
So I think that you're approving of him. You're approving of him. And then the other two things I wanted to say very quickly were that I think too much emphasis has been put on his racism against African Americans and Latinos and Hispanics, et cetera, not enough on the anti-Semitism. And one thing that Mary Trump mentioned in her book that I saw in one of her interviews that I was stunned by was the fact that, yes, of course, she said she believes he got his beliefs from the grandfather, right? The president got his beliefs from the grandfather. Mm-hmm. And she said, when an Italian family moved into their neighborhood in New York, the grandfather had a meltdown and a fit. Italians were not acceptable to him.
Well, it was
and
the 1890s.
To me,
that was all across New York. I mean, Leo DiCaprio made a movie about it, Gangs of New York.
Yeah. Well, but what we're talking about is fast forward, when they actually moved into their Jamaica, Queens, New York neighborhood, that is when an Italian family actually moved in, and that wasn't that remote. And I'm not talking about, originally in this country when Italians and Irish came over and they were not considered to be white.
You were saying grandfather. I was figuring, because his father was born in the late 1800s. His grandfather had to have been born around the time of the Civil War.
Yeah, I was talking about Mary's grandfather.
Oh, you're talking about
Trump's
Fred
father.
Trump. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
I'm Mary's grandfather,
apologies.
not beyond that.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I wanted to mention also is that somebody said something about the Canadian border and wanting to go there. We actually are banned because of our poor performance with COVID-19. We can't even go there right now. And the other thing is Marco Rubio stunned me. He actually reached out to Emily at GSA today and said, release the transition funds. This is a national security issue. And then finally, the Georgia legislature is in discussion right now, Tom, trying to do away with vote by mail for the Senate runoffs in January. So stay tuned.
Of course they are. Of course they are. Oh, my God. Yeah, I predicted this. Was it yesterday or was it last Friday? I predicted that the Georgia legislature would try to get rid of the. You know, it's amazing, amazing. AJ, it's oh, by the way, the one point I wanted to make to you, the reason why those guys were chanting "Jews will not replace us" in Charlottesville was because there was a leaflet, a booklet that had been passed out before the march that they were all in on, that was about how George Soros was paying black people to move into white neighborhoods. That's what they were talking about. So anyhow, AJ, thanks for the call.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-808-9925.
In other words, even the Jews will not replace us wasn't pure anti-Semitism. It was anti-Semitic, but it was also racist. We'll be back.